they're a little bit of a difficult group to identify. We try to make it a little bit easier by breaking them into two different subgroups. You've got your accipiters and your bootios. So the Cooper's hawk is a type of accipiter. These are usually the smaller hawks, the smaller hawks that tend to be in the woods, and they're very good at maneuvering their way around. They've got these short wings that they can pull in very easily so they can swoop through the woods and catch their forest prey, all right? Identifying a sharpshin versus a Cooper's is one of my biggest challenges as a birder. Sharpshins are usually about the size, a little bit bigger than a robin, and Coopers are about the size of a crow in general. However, if you've got a small Cooper's or a large sharpshin, it gets really fuzzy. But anyways, those are two birds that you might find in your area. They've got the striped, the barred tails, long tails. And like I said, if you've got a small hawk hanging out by your bird feeders, it's probably one of those two, okay? But then we move on to the typically larger hawks, and those are the bootios. Kind of a funny name, the bootios. Okay, we got 4 different types of bootios around here. The broad-winged hawk is the smallest of the bootios, and this is the one that makes a pretty mass migration through this area during the fall. So if you happen to stick around for Jamie's program, count me in at 11:30. I'm sure he'll spend a fair amount of time talking about broadwings because we do see a lot of them when they migrate. Red shoulders are a little bit bigger. They've got the red shoulder. Rough-legged hawks are called that because they have feathers that go all the way down to the base of their feet, and they only come in the wintertime. And then the one that I'm going to focus on, because it's the one that we see the most often, and it happens to be the biggest, the red-tailed hawk, okay? Let me tell you his story, okay? He's got a pretty interesting story. Unfortunately, it's an all too common story. This was a bird that was out hunting and got hit by a car when he was swooping down, okay? And when he got hit by the car, unfortunately, he broke his wing, and it never set back the right way. So he's no longer able to fly. So he went to a nature center to be on permanent exhibit, and then they ended up sending him to us. So we've had Navar for probably over 10 years. But this is really the first year that he's been used for programs. So he's still kind of getting used to this whole thing. Right? He's about 2 pounds. For being such a big bird, some people are often surprised by how little they weigh. Got a pretty big enclosure for him out back. He's not able to hunt live prey anymore, but these birds are very food motivated. So as long as we're giving him his food every day, that kind of keeps him pretty stimulated. And he's got branches to hop around on, and of course this is quite a stimulating experience as well. When it comes to raptors, you don't have to worry about the beak, it's the feet that you got to worry about. That's why I wear the glove. Okay. So it's the feet that are the powerful weapons. The feet have the strength to grab onto that prey. They've got these amazing talons. Those are the claws. The talons are used for piercing the prey. And then they'll bring it back up to their perch. Now, if it's a small animal like a mouse, they'll just pop that mouse down whole, right? And I've seen them do it. But if it's a larger animal, that's when the beak comes in. They use the beak basically like their fork and their knife. They use the beak to cut up the creature, to tear it into pieces and eat it piece by piece. Okay? Wingspan is about, well, on a large female, it can be about 4 to 4.5 feet. He's a little tough to say because he can't stretch that wing out. But I'd say he's probably at 3.5 when he's all, I don't know if he's going to let me do it. Sometimes he spreads out his, there you go. You can kind of imagine that times 2, okay? So they definitely are the largest hawk that you're going to see around this area. Oh, and I have to tell you about their vision, because that's one of the other major adaptations that they have. They can see in color, just like you or I, because they are daytime hunters, so color helps them out. In fact, they can see colors that we can't even see. They can pick up some ultraviolet rays, which is pretty cool. They can see about 4 times better than we can as far as the detail in their eyes. That eyebrow that you see above his eye, it's that thing that always makes him look like he's looking at you like this, like he's mad, right? That's an adaptation too, because those are his natural visors, right? Those are what help protect the glare of the sun from getting in his eyes when he's hunting. So instead of putting on a baseball cap to protect your eyes from the sun, he's already got his visor built in. And so not only can they hear right and left, they can hear up and down. They can triangulate and pinpoint exactly where a sound is coming from. Even if that sound is just the little squeak of a mouse, and even if that mouse is under a thin layer of snow, even if he can't see it, he can catch that mouse just by hearing it alone. So pretty amazing sense of hearing as well as their sense of sight. I'm going to try to come down the aisle again, okay? When he poops, he tends to just drop it right down, so we don't have to worry as much about it. All right, Shakes, let's do this, okay?